Hi, everyone. My name is Nina Sanford. I am a GI radiation oncologist at UT Southwestern Dallas, Texas. So ever since NRG GI-011, our phase 3 trial of dose-escalated radiation locally advanced pancreas cancer was activated last month. I've had some folks ask me what are the steps to getting a cooperative trial approved. So I thought I'd just make a really short video on it. I think when I was going through the process, I had such great mentorship and support, but it was still a little bit of a black box to me. So I'm going to go over the timeline for our study, the caveat, of course, being that this is the specific points are for our trial, but I think the general framework probably applies to most cooperative group studies. So for us, it began in 2021 when we started discussing a trial concept for the locally advanced pancreas cancer setting in our NRG pancreas working group. So for the four adult cooperative groups, NRG, SWOG, Alliance, and ECOG, each has disease-specific working groups, and that is really the first place that one goes to pitch a study concept. So in 2022, we submitted a phase 1 concept that was ultimately disproved in July, the rationale being that there was enough published data on dose-escalated radiation for locally advanced pancreas cancer that it didn't really merit being assessed by the cooperative groups in a phase 1 setting. So then we went back to the working groups and then put together a phase 2 randomized trial concept. We first presented this at the NCI Pancreas Task Force in July of 2023. So the Pancreas Task Force, the NCI has disease-specific task forces whose goal is to help you refine your study, give you feedback, and get it ready for presentation to the steering committee. So our first presentation was in July, then we presented an updated concept in September, taking into account the advice of the task force. And then our first presentation to the GI Steering Committee was in January of 2024. So the GI Steering Committee is a group that ultimately votes on whether or not your study is approved. So we presented it once in January and then presented updates, again, based on feedback in March, and then it was approved as a phase 3 concept in April. So when a study is approved, you get a maximum number of days to then activate the study, and that is dated back to the first steering committee presentation, which for us was in January of 2024. And the number of days depends on the phase of the trial. So for a phase 3 study, it was 540 days. And then in that time, there are several things that have to be done. You have to finalize the protocol, the patient-informed consent, get coverage analysis on insurance coverage for your treatments, get approval from CTEP, which is an evaluation process by the NCI and the central IRB, and then get the text for the clinicaltrials.gov website. And each of these steps sometimes took several iterations, and there are also things that I'm not including in these bullet points. So that took us to June 9th of this year, 2025, when our study was finally activated. And of course, we know from activation to enrollment, there can be a few more months as sites get credentialed. So overall, it took about 4, maybe a little bit more years. Certainly a bit of a long process that requires some persistence. Now looking back on it, I definitely see how every step is important in refining the study, getting multidisciplinary support. But now having gone through it, I do wonder if there are ways to make it more efficient in the future. I have some ideas. Maybe I'll make a video of that at some point. But for now, that's all I got, and hopefully that was helpful to someone. Thanks.